Joining us now are Mike and Ryan. They are friends since kindergarten, and they invented a game, and it is called Dotball360. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Very good.
Thanks for having us.
That is a great story. Can we just go there, Mike?
Yeah.
How did the two of you meet? Because it's kind of charming in a way.
It's a funny story. So
Okay.
I actually have a bone disease, so I break fairly easily. And probably the fourth day of kindergarten, I was chasing him back from the recess to line up to go back into class, and I slipped on the deck and fell on him, and I broke myself. So I went out for a few weeks, and by the time I got back, I didn't realize the entire time I was gone healing, he had a massive guilt trip going on, like I broke this kid.
Well, I thought I killed this kid because we had fire trucks come and ambulance, and
It was a to-do.
it was a thing. And I was like, I was a kindergartner.
Wow.
You have all that happening, and this kid that came towards you and fell, and I felt like I landed on him too. And so I thought,
And your parents are probably like, "What did you do?" Right?
It wasn't my first time, so my parents kind of knew the drill, but
Right.
his parents were probably a little surprised.
Yeah.
So-
Ryan, I mean, like that's a lot.
it was a lot. It was
Okay.
a lot for the first week of school as a new kid in kindergarten, for sure.
But obviously it was meant to be because it's been a lifelong journey so far.
Yeah.
And you've both moved to different cities, but your friendship has remained intact. And then you've been a firefighter, you still are. And you, Mike, went into business, correct? Yeah. And then you retired. And then your friend says, "I'm not doing this without you," right? And what is it? What is Dotball 360?
So it's a game that, we've come up with numerous games as kids, especially with Mike's condition, not out being able to play traditional sports. So I was playing, basketball, soccer, all the traditional sports, but, one of my best friends wasn't able to play those. So we were playing non-traditional sports, niche sports, basically, making them up and being able to play with our group of friends, basically anything, modifying rules so everyone could play. Like that's one of the big things that we believe in,
And
is everyone can play.
And let me say, yeah, that's been around for 15 years, like, making things more inclusive and, but not really so much when we were little. So you
No.
guys are so ahead of your time to be able to, right? How do you feel about
I
that?
feel super fortunate. Like looking as a kid, it's just
Right.
what we did.
Okay.
Like if we had 5 kids and a ball, we'd figure out a game to play, and everybody just watched out for me because they knew I was fragile. Looking back at it as an adult, there's a huge appreciation for the cool group of friends I had, because kids can be cruel.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate that my group of friends always looked out for me. When I came back, Ryan had my back from day one. He was like my big brother, just followed me around, make sure, take care of Mike, don't let him break himself again.
And so of that, this was born.
Yeah,
Okay.
I became a PE teacher actually because I saw what sports and games can do to build a bond, build a friendship, create a little community within your group of friends. So I became a PE teacher and went and, wanted to show that to kids, basically wanted to teach them how to play different games, not the same game,
Right.
but a bunch of different games to see what they fit into, what they liked. So I was a PE teacher for 5 years, and then I met a woman.
Okay.
And she lived in New Mexico, Albuquerque. So I followed her. I chased her out there. And so now she's my wife. That was a good move for me.
It was the right choice. Felt a little bit
It was
abandoned.
a scary
but-
move to just kind of leave all your friends, basically, and your family in California. But I went out there and switched careers into the fire department, where I took those same ideas of camaraderie and what a game can do. So at the fire station, we are either running calls, and actually in Albuquerque, the station I was in was one of the busiest stations in the country. So we were
Okay.
busy.
And you're making chili with green chili or red chili.
Yep,
or
there
chili,
you go.
right?
You know the green chili, red chili game?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So we had guys in there making the favorite. And if we weren't running calls or cooking green chili or training, you're either on your phones or you're watching TV or you're playing a game, which I like to do. Like bring everyone together. Let's get off the phones. Let's get our minds off the calls.
Yes.
Like we go and see some terrible stuff in the fire department, and it's good to come back to the station with your fellow firefighters, with your friends, your family there, and connect in a different way. And I call it mental meditation. When you're playing a game or a sport, you're disconnected from everything else in your mind.
True,
Right? I
focus.
mean, whether it's a call, whether it's, you know, other
And especially
troubles.
as competitive as we are, because we
Right.
played this in Studio C, and we're all like, we were just focusing on like, what?
Yeah.
You know, the rules are pretty simple. You could be 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, but it's a lot of fun. So you also played it like, so the same people you grew up with that original core, you guys go on a guys trip every year, correct?
Yeah.
And you bring this with you.
So this year we actually celebrated our 40th birthday, all of us, because we all grew up together. So we went to Puerto Vallarta, and our very first prototype landed a couple days before we went.
Wow,
So we
what a
had
celebration to be
yeah.
all together to do that.
So yeah, we had 17, including spouses, all staying in one big house, and we played dotball on the beach and had a great time. And like you said, you can play 1v1. It's not really competitive. It's more practicing skill sets.
Okay.
If you have 3, you can implement cutthroat rules if you're familiar with that, and play very competitively at cutthroat, where last person hit it off the table, the other 2 people are on a team.
Okay.
And so you constantly are alternating on defense. It's a little bit of a mind game, but once you get it, it's really fun. And then obviously 2v2 and 3v3.
I give Mike complete credit. So I invented it in the fire station, but then we went on with the guys trip the year before when we were 39, and I brought a game because when we go on our guys trip, we always play something. Like that's how we connect. So we played this game. I brought it, and he was like, "Well, this is super fun." And the rest of our groups, I mean, we played for hours. He's like, "Well, you should do something with this." And you know, I'm just a firefighter from our career. I don't want to. That's not my thing. Like, I just want to play and have fun, you know, and do my job and go with my family, and you know. But he was like, "Hey, this is something. Like, we had a lot of fun with this. Other people will too." And then, you know, I started thinking, like, yeah, like let's do it because I'm showing all these people and we're having fun. And he was the mastermind behind building the first prototype of it. He's like, I'm gonna go home and build this thing. Like, so he went home in his garage and built the first table that we talked about. Like our whole trip was just dotball, dotball, dotball.
And it's self-contained,
Yes.
right? Because sometimes with other sports, do you ever like open up somebody's garage door and it's like 4 tennis rackets, the balls are over there, like where's the croquet game? Oh my gosh, we don't have the spikes. This is perfect. It's all self-contained. And you just fold it all in together and away you go.
Right.
And you can take it on a plane, which is great.
Absolutely. That was something I took away from Ryan. He was talking about being a PE teacher, and they have really small lockers sometimes where they have to keep all the equipment for all the kids. And he said it was so frustrating trying to organize it, keep track of the balls, the paddles, nets for all these different sports. And so immediately I thought if the table folded into a briefcase and the entire game was in the table, all of a sudden you just stack them up and it's nice and clean and organized and you know everything you need is in there.
Now, I'm not going to give the retail price because you might change it, but right now, you have a certain number of games, and once those are sold, you're going to order more. But like, if somebody wants this, they need to order it now because it was so outrageously fun that I immediately called Matthew, my son, and FaceTimed him from University of Michigan. And Matthew's like, and when you get that, that must feel great that everybody wants this.
Yeah, when we play with people, I mean, they pick it up really quick. I mean, we know how to teach it, and they pick it up fast. And the fun part is you put a paddle in someone's hand, it's an implement they want to use. It's, you know,
100%.
you want to use that.
Get down, like we're all
And-
you could tell we're very competitive
Right.
here. And I even tried to play in heels, okay?
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend playing in heels. But
You did
it's a lot of
amazing.
fun. You can play on sand, you can play on turf, you can play it on a hardscape, you can play it in the
Tennis
street.
courts.
Tennis courts. So it goes bump, set, dot.
Yeah,
Those
so
are the rules.
it's the first team paddle game.
Okay.
So every other paddle game, you know, you have pickleball and you have tennis and other racket paddle games where you're hitting it over a net. It comes over the net, you hit it back over the net, right?
Right, that's
Badminton.
it. Right, exactly.
In
Point,
this,
point.
we're actually a team. So you have an orange team versus the black team working together with a bump, set, spike to the table. Once it hits
Okay.
the table, that's the switch of possessions. And now that other team, you know, the
Has to
orange team
respond, right.
is now responding back 3 hits to return it to the table.
The game is certainly a lot of fun. I know that you have a family, and so things are well made. They're sturdy,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So tell us about your boys.
Well, so Mackenzie and I have 3 boys, which is a lot, you know, and they love to play stuff. They love to play hard. And we wanted to make it strong enough where it's going to last them sitting on it, standing on it, falling on it, you know, so we made it all with metal components and something that they can hit hard off the table because you put a paddle in their hand and they want to hit really hard.
And they're going for it.
And they're going for it.
I love that. And it's all different skill levels, correct, Mike?
With his kids especially, they're 3, 7, and 9, I think he said that. And at an introductory level skill set, you can have so much fun with this game. And as it grows and you get better, you have more and more and more fun, and you want to play more and more and more. And then when it gets to a very high competitive skill set level, those folks are really getting after it, and it is a lot
I'm
of
seeing
fun.
leagues in the future. Are you thinking about leagues?
Hopefully, we want
right.
to do tournaments, go to ESPN. You know, we'll see. That's the goal.
So you can see we're competitive, so we wanted to make it a game that can grow offensively, defensively, and make it a competitive, real sport, not just a game.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
we
is a
wanted
real
it.
sport, Dotball360. And you know, I'm very happy. Like I said, in 17 years, you know, I'm so excited about this, about your. This is just amazing, and I feel like it's going to be life changing for your journey. But you know, what's not going to change is your friendship. You know, which is beautiful, and like the guys that you grew up with, it's just like the sweetest story. So I thank you for the bottom of my heart for being here to talk about, you know, including others, to talk about like putting something together and collaboration and teamwork. It's just like the best. You guys are awesome. So stay positive on your journey. Please check in with us every once in a while. I already told you, how many games am I buying?
10.
I'm buying 10. All right, I am buying 10 games, okay? I've got my 10 first. I already signed up. And if you want this, you should sign up as well, because you know that this is going to be all the craze. Thank you for watching. I'm Donna Drake. I've been visiting with Ryan and Mike with Dotball360. So much fun. Be well.